Hello and welcome to another episode of the Tip Balls Podcast. I am your host, Sam Randazzo, and I am joined by my two rather decisive co-hosts. To my right, it is the one and only Uncle Sam.
Hello.
And behind the computer, absolutely pummeling his own plums, it is Bruce, the tugboat. Venditti.
Forward down the field. A charging team that will not yield. And when the blue and
I hate that fucking song.
Stand and cheer the brave.
You know who I hate worse than that? That same guy who does the Detroit basketball thing. I can't stand him.
Mason?
Why?
I can't stand him.
Okay.
Can't stand him. I hate that guy who sings
Enough
the
of
Lions
that.
song.
Let's move on to football.
Here we go.
Stupid.
Here we go. I was
Stupid.
wrong. I'll own it. The Detroit Lions did indeed find a way to stop Saquon Barkley, and they did indeed find a way to beat the New York Giants. Final score there, 31-18 from the Meadowlands. And yes, I was wrong.
Technically, I was wrong, too. Because I said it was going to be a close game.
Well, either way, yeah, I was wrong. I made the call. I haven't been a fan of the Giants all year. I just thought that their running back, Saquon Barkley, had the juice to obliterate the Lions defense. And the Lions defense stepped up in a big way, and they won the game.
You gotta, and I don't know if this is part of turning the corner, but Lee McNeil was absolutely
very nice.
unblockable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They could not block him. He was constantly pressuring Daniel Jones, and it's the best I've seen this guy look since he's been here.
And the Lions played a complete game of football. And
A complete 4 quarters, and Dan Campbell didn't fuck up and throw the game
We
away.
didn't go for it on fourth down.
Yep. This is where I have, if you look at the stat sheet from this game, Goff had 165 yards. He completed 17 passes and had a QBR of 83. He didn't throw a pick, and he didn't throw a touchdown. Now, that's fundamentally, just like we were talking about, the Lions have not made mistakes as of late. And usually when you make when you play error-free football,
You're gonna win
You're going to
football
win games. Justin Jackson stepped up in a huge way yesterday. Jamal Williams stepped up in a huge way yesterday. Swift
Leads the NFL, Jamal Williams.
in touchdowns.
Rushing touchdowns.
Amon-Ra St. Brown had a nice game. He caught 7 of 8 targets.
Kirby Joseph, another turnover. He's got 4 picks on the year
Yes, sir.
for a guy who did not start this year.
Well, I mean, we'd be doing a disservice if we didn't talk about Aiden Hutchinson with his second pick of the year. The first rookie ever for the Lions to have 2 first rookie defensive linemen
And fumble recovery.
to ever have,
5
So
sacks
they're
and
not
2
making
picks.
mistakes. On the other side of the ball, Daniel Jones threw for 341 yards. He threw 2 interceptions. He threw a touchdown. So for a guy who averages 190 yards passing per game, for him to have to go out there and throw for 350,
They
some
got away
mistakes are
from
going to be made.
what's got them there.
Correct. I mean,
It seems like every time a team shows up against the Lions,
it's because the other team got away from exactly what got them to the point.
Philadelphia.
Correct.
All these teams that play the Lions, it's like they forget how to play football.
Well, Saquon Barkley couldn't do anything. It was 15 for 22 because the Lions' defensive line really stepped up in a big way. And I was not expecting that. I wasn't. Wendell Robinson, now out for the year, torn ACL, 9 receptions, 100 yards. I mean, Darius Slayton, 5 for 86. So, let's be real here. The Lions' secondary did not play all that fabulous of a game. They allowed 341 passing yards to
But
Daniel
Okuda
Jones.
did go out in this game.
Okuda went out hurt. I mean,
Yeah, that's right.
the Giants couldn't run the ball, and they couldn't stop the Lions' rushing attack. Point blank period. That's
Their
it.
offensive line was the truth yesterday.
And Jamal Williams.
That's the first time I've seen these guys clicking all year.
Yeah, Jamal Williams in the red zone is
Money.
phenomenal. So, I mean, I will sit here and say I was wrong. Absolutely. But am I going to sit here and say that I think that everybody in Detroit right now, they've turned the corner, baby. They've turned the corner. I'm not ready to say that yet because I'm going to sit here and reiterate what I have on this show all year.
You can't go 1-6 and turn a corner.
Yeah, I don't think the Giants are nearly as good as we thought they are. I think Daniel Jones made key errors in very important parts of the game. Those 2 interceptions came at extremely inopportune times. At the same token, the Lions secondary, which we've said all year is the weakness of the defense, because you don't even know who's playing.
I said was the weakness. Just want to state that.
I'm pretty sure it's very well documented
It's
here.
well documented that he has said that it's not the secondary. When all for the first 4 games of the season,
I'll say it
said
one more time.
It was the secondary.
I'll say it one more time for you, dude. The secondary is only as good as what the front 7 is, bud. And that's on any fucking team in this league.
But what he's saying is that the secondary didn't play good, which is technically true. And the only reason they
That's
looked
that
good
meaning
was because
that the front was so concentrated on stopping the run, they let the back end go.
But
They're lucky it didn't come back to haunt them.
it worked.
It worked.
It worked. So I can't really talk all that much shit.
Hey, they dominated the fucking game, period.
Jared Goff managed the game extremely
football,
well.
baby.
Dan Campbell managed the game extremely well.
Surprisingly so.
And now
Both.
we're in a situation where the Lions are shockingly somehow in a wild card hunt.
This is
After
the first time in
going
probably,
1-6.
Since
probably 10 years
2014.
that they're playing a significant game on
Thanksgiving.
Oh,
Yep.
I thought you meant like since they've been in wild.
No, this is now we have
Well,
the
I was gonna
makings.
say
This
that's
is a very
2014,
Fuck.
this is a very significant game coming up on Thanksgiving, which we'll talk about.
And I'm
more
going to
on
tell you
Wednesday,
what, if
but-
Jeff Okudah is playing, I'd
It
like
was
the
a head
Lions' chances.
injury, wasn't it?
Huh?
It was a head injury, wasn't it?
Yeah,
He's in concussion.
he's not going to turn
protocol.
around in 3 fucking days.
We'll see if he turns around. I doubt it, but
No.
you never know.
But Jamison Williams is coming back to practice.
He
today.
can practice.
Just practicing.
I know.
That's it.
I'm
He
just
won't.
saying.
yeah.
I'm just saying.
He
So
wasn't going to come.
practicing.
Regardless, they
It's
said he
just
would
cool.
not start till after Thanksgiving, regardless.
Whatever the fact, I don't care.
So, in my opinion,
Like it.
in my
I want to see
opinion,
him on the field.
Yes.
well,
like,
this is the thing. That's fine. You want to see him on the field, that's all good. But what the Lions are going to do here is, and this is for people who are huge fans of the team like Bruce is, yeah, you want to get your pee-pee hard over a couple big wins against the Giants and stuff, that's fine. But you will sit here and tell me over and over that the problem with this team is Jared Goff. And what you are doing right now is seamlessly creating a fake hope that you're going to make a wild card spot in the playoffs only to get absolutely fucking obliterated by Minnesota or San Francisco or somebody in the first round of said playoffs if somehow the Giants, San Francisco, and Washington all shit the bed and you make a playoff spot, and then you're picking at 17 because as bad as the Rams are, I don't think they're going to lose every game for the rest of the year. And then what you
Matthew Stafford's not in there. That
it's
could happen.
pretty close.
what you are creating here is a scenario. Even still, they're not going to finish in the bottom 4 because I don't see Houston winning many more games. I don't see the Raiders winning more games. I don't see.
What a win for the Raiders, by the way.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
So what we're creating here is a scenario where you're going to have Jared Goff for the foreseeable future because you're going to play yourself out of a quarterback contention.
Jared Goff is here next year. Period. He's the starter next year. Period.
That's not true.
That's not
He's
true.
the starter.
That's not
The
true.
Lions have
Yeah, it
had
is.
4
If
scouts.
they drafted
at-
Bryce
at
Young,
Florida.
if they drafted Bryce
They're
Young,
not drafting Bryce Young.
because they won't be able to.
They've had
No.
4 scouts at Florida.
You and I,
Listen to me.
4.
listen to me. This
Will,
is not a
Will
college.
Levis is going to be the quarterback in Detroit.
This is not a college football
like
show.
him.
But if they draft Anthony Richardson and they think he's going to be the next Justin Fields, everybody in Detroit's going to be very, very upset.
I don't see that
foreseeable
happening.
future. But either way,
Will Levis, he played Georgia yesterday. Looked pretty good in the beginning there.
okay. So Lions fans,
Go supporting
congratulations
cast.
on a big win. Congratulations on 3 in a row. Congratulations on having a ton of hope going into this Buffalo game on Thanksgiving. But, and you know what the fucked up part about it is? If you look at their schedule, they could win a few more games.
They're going to.
If you guys really want to sit
We
here
called
and
them
say,
a 5-win football team. They at least got one more
I will
win
be
left.
happy if they win at least 5.
so that's one more win. No,
It's
guess
two
what?
more than last
Hold on. We're gonna call a timeout here. If you think that they're turning a corner and you think that this is that the future's starting now, you're not happy with one more win.
No.
You're happy
No.
if you as a fan
But-
would be what? So they beat the Buffalo's like the Super Bowl this week for you.
Yes.
Basically, yeah.
Basically, yeah.
So if they beat Buffalo and then they go and lose to Jacksonville, Minnesota,
yeah,
the
they
Jets,
go
and
and shit the bed
Carolina,
against
See what
other
the
teams. That would be pretty disappointing, actually.
right? So
honest
don't
with
sit here and say, "Oh, I'd be happy with 5 wins." No, if you don't come out of this year with 8 wins, if they've turned a corner, like everybody's saying, they're turning the corner. You're not happy with anything less than 7 or 8 wins this year. If you guys think they're going to beat Buffalo,
I just
if they're
I think they match up well with Buffalo, better than
I
people
think-
think.
if they turned a corner, they need to get a win against Jacksonville. They need to get a win against the Jets. They need to get a win against Carolina.
hold on. Let's
Minimal.
not get away from.
I'm going by what Buffalo, what Miami did to Buffalo, and turn around and play the Lions. And I thought the Lions played pretty damn tough against them, even though the defense was horrible that day. The defense that has been playing now is not the same defense that played these other teams.
Correct.
And I'm going to say this: I think they match up pretty damn good with Buffalo. If Akuda can somehow get out of concussion protocol and get in, which I doubt it,
I love how
I
you
would
think
love
that
to
this
see-
game comes down to Jeff Okuda.
He's a big.
Since when
he's
is
a big.
they-
He's a big
him-
benefactor.
him
talking-
on Stephon Diggs is huge.
You're not talking about Wendell Robinson or Darius Slayton. You're talking about Stephon Diggs.
Yes.
So I,
think
mean,
him
you
on
think
Stephon
Jeff
Diggs is huge.
Okuda
Jeff
is
Okuda did a great job against Justin Jefferson. So I don't
Yeah,
know where
he
you're
locked
coming
him down
from with
all
this.
game. All
If
game.
he did that with Jefferson, I damn well think he could do that with Diggs. Absolutely.
God bless. I mean, Justin,
I mean, go back
Justin
and look at the
Jefferson
stats.
had Justin
He
Jefferson
played
had
tough.
30 yards last night against the Cowboys. So I mean, this
Listen to
is
me.
Stephon Diggs.
It was obvious the reason why he only had 30 yards. It was obvious. We knew what it was.
Well, I think it
We
was
called
obvious the
Well,
reason
might
why.
as well go
called
right
it.
into the game.
Well, I think it was obvious the reason why Justin Jefferson had such a putrid game against Detroit. I mean, they didn't really need to utilize him all that much. KJ Osborne had 75 yards. Thielen had 61 yards. Dalvin Cook ran for 100. So, yeah, Justin
but they-
Jefferson had 3 receptions for 14 yards. They
the
didn't fucking
Osborne
need
shit
him.
was right at the end. Right at the end of the game when Campbell blew it.
Well,
Yeah.
so if this is
But
the turnaround,
he played him damn good.
if this is the turnaround, then
All
this
right,
week
we'll
against
see.
Buffalo,
see.
Stephon Diggs does
So if
nothing,
let's
and then
say
they win 7
let's say
games.
they beat Buffalo.
Yeah.
Then where you sit with it?
If they beat Buffalo, then I want to see them beat Jacksonville the week after.
Okay.
Because what does it mean if you go and you beat the Giants
I'm
and
just asking
Buffalo?
a question.
If you
I'm
go
just
and you
asking a
beat
question.
the Giants,
Listen, they
and
beat two teams on the fucking road. It's something they haven't done in 5 years.
they beat Chicago
6 years.
Yeah,
On the road.
and the Giants. If
On
okay,
the road.
but here's what I'm saying: if they beat Buffalo on Thanksgiving and win the Super Bowl
At home.
and then go and lose to Jacksonville, Minnesota, and the Jets, are you happy?
No, I'm not
because
happy.
then what's going to
I
happen
don't
is
think anybody's happy.
then what's going to happen is he's going to turn around and he's going to say when they go and lose to Jacksonville, because we know how the Lions roll. That's the trap game of the century right there. At home to Jacksonville on 10 days rest. We were right back where you started.
No, we'll see.
Until they can
We'll
put
see.
3 games is fabulous and all, and that's fine.
Oh, I'm happy that they won 2 road games. Winning on the road is huge. You
it's-
have to learn how to do that.
3 straight since 2017.
First time they've won 3
My
straight
whole
since
thing was they
2017.
won
And
2 on the
2
road.
on a road.
That is fucking huge, dude.
Yeah.
That is huge for this team. I truly think that.
God bless. I think differently about Thanksgiving Day, but we will talk about that on Wednesday's show.
Okay.
So congratulations. I was wrong. I am willing to own that. Saquon Barkley had a putrid game.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about the
But hold
Buffalo
on, you
game
did-
that got
you did
moved here.
Put on our Instagram that you were wrong for the first time, but you were wrong the week prior as well against Chicago. So,
What do you mean I was wrong the week prior against Chicago?
because you said Chicago was going to steamroll Detroit,
I did.
you did.
I know. I was wrong for the second time. Sorry.
This extra point.
Yeah, the missed extra point. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about this
Let's talk about first.
Buffalo game, no?
No, I don't want to talk about Buffalo yet.
Why?
Because I want to talk about.
It was here in Detroit. It was
Oh,
fucking
okay.
people
Talk
up
about the
left
Lions,
and right,
you might as well. Here
looking
we
at
go.
the end zone, and it said Detroit Lions on it. And
It was
people
fun.
were
I was
complaining
we were
the whole
sitting there
time.
like, what?
Well, no, it was actually good football, so I wasn't confused. But
It was good football.
Yeah.
Well, when you're sitting in a bar and you got
Good football.
Ford Field
18
on
of
this screen,
27,
the Lions are playing on
197
that
yards and a
screen.
touchdown.
Yeah, because again, it's the exact same fucking thing that happened in the Giants-Lions game. So if you're going to sit here and talk shit about Josh Allen with that stat line, then I want to hear some
That
flack from
stat
Jared
line is
Goff,
just
too.
like Jared Goff.
Right. So, but you said Jared Goff's not the issue.
Yeah, but hold on a minute now. Josh Allen is supposed to be the face of this fucking league. Jared Goff isn't.
Guess what?
Everybody's talking
Jared-
about this guy being a fucking Super Bowl champion.
Well, yeah, he's
Super
7-3.
Bowl champions don't throw for fucking 190 yards.
He's 7-3.
He's lucky.
Where are you going?
That game.
We got lucky. So now we're gonna call the Buffalo win over Cleveland lucky. So at
Hey,
the
they got
same
lucky it was at Detroit, not at fucking Buffalo.
So at the same token, because let's be real here, Nick Chubb, 14 rushes for 19 yards, which is pretty much the same stat line Saquon Barkley had. So if you're going to say Buffalo got lucky, then let's go back on the same testament and say the Lions got lucky.
we could do
What's
that.
the difference? Thank you. So now we've discredited Buffalo's win and the Lions win together because that's where we're at. If we're going to sit here and say Buffalo got lucky and we're not going to talk about Buffalo's defense eviscerating Nick Chubb like the Lions did to Saquon Barkley, it's the same game. It's the same game, with different expectations.
I will say this. We had an argument about who's the biggest bandwagon. You are capitalizing on your bandwagon right now.
Why? In what way, shape, or form am I
you
capitalizing
do
on the
jump-
bandwagon?
Because you're taking it so serious that we're happy about the Lions, and he's coming at you about this game, and you're getting all defensive.
Hey,
all
listen to
I
me.
said is
I have-
if you're the supreme team in the AFC, you don't give up fucking 400 yards of fucking
Listen,
offense to the
Question
Cleveland
for you.
Browns.
Question. Before you make these comments, you want to look at the Philadelphia-Indianapolis stat line from yesterday? Before
Go ahead.
Because you want to talk about putrid.
Yeah. I
We're going to
agree.
sit here and talk Josh Allen.
I'm not going to sit. I'm going to sit here and say this. Philadelphia at this point, they've only lost one game.
Well, okay, but you want to talk about. You're going to sit again.
Got a point.
This
Did
is
they
what
look
doesn't-
like shit? Yes.
Yeah,
Did
they
they
looked
win?
awful.
Yes.
But they
Doesn't matter.
They lost to a worse team. They were 1 point
sorry?
away. They were 1 point away from losing to a worse team than Buffalo did.
I truly think
Buffalo made it here
that
12 hours before the
Indianapolis is a
game.
little tougher than people think.
Oh, here we go. Bandwagon.
We've
You're
been
calling me
saying this.
bandwagon.
We've been
I think
saying this.
Matt Ryan coming back. He's been resurrected.
Oh.
God bless Matt
I
Ryan.
think so.
And you're over here beating the drum for Jeff Saturday, and you know what? They did a pretty goddamn good job staying in there.
Yes, they did. But again,
I'll give them that
see,
much.
This is what I have the issue with. We have 3 games here, right?
I still think that Philadelphia is better than Tampa, better than fucking.
Are they
both
better
of
than
these
Buffalo?
teams. Yeah.
Okay.
At this point, I do believe
This
they're
is
better
what
than
I don't
Buffalo.
understand, and this is the root of the issue here.
But
we have
record
such
goes to
high
show.
praise for the Lions, and we're going to discredit Buffalo's win.
Murray Cooper.
Maybe they shouldn't have been smashing tables in our fucking city.
Murray Cooper.
Do you have anything to add there, or are we just going to let me sit here like a fucking idiot?
Murray Cooper, 8 catches, 113 yards, 2 touchdowns. Sweet.
Sweet.
Stephon Diggs, 4 catches, 48 yards, and a touchdown.
Hold on, let's call a timeout. I believe on Wednesday's show, somebody didn't like Amari Cooper this week. So.
I love Murray Cooper.
Yeah, okay. But I'm seriously, I'm asking a question here. Neither of you have an answer for me.
What
Why
was
do
the
we have
question?
such high praise for the Lions win, but you want to discredit Buffalo's?
Hey, all I'm saying is this. At one point, they should have lost this game. Cleveland let it get away from them. Cleveland let this game get away from them. Now, I don't know if you watched it or not.
Yes, I did.
I actually did.
Yes, I did
And
as well.
they let this game get away from them.
I
Shame on the coaching staff in Cleveland because they need to be slapped with their own dicks.
mean, Buffalo had control the entire game. At one
No,
point,
they didn't.
It
No,
was
they
28 to
didn't.
10.
No,
it
no,
was 28 to 10.
It was early on in that game.
It was
They were
28 to
kicking
10.
field goals instead of
And with
scoring
25
touchdowns.
seconds left, it was 31 to 16. And with 25 seconds left, Donovan Peoples-Jones scored. So don't sit here and say Cleveland let it get away from them.
No, they let it get away from them in the first half. They could have mounted a huge lead.
It was
on Buffalo.
28 to 10. At what point were they going to mount this huge lead? When it was 10 to 6 or 7 to 3? Buffalo was in control from second quarter on.
No, they weren't, dude. They didn't get in control of this game till the third quarter.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. When it was 22 to 10,
Whatever, dude.
nobody was in control.
Fucking 13 to 10 at the half, dude.
Yeah, but
At the half. So obviously the game did not get out of fucking line, out of
yeah, but
touch till the fucking
you're sitting
third
here
quarter.
blaming
End of the third.
You're
quarter.
sitting here blaming the
I'm blaming the
Cleveland
coaching staff for the Cleveland Browns that got away from what's getting them there. Because
no,
they
'cause Nick
fucking
Chubb
made
was deemed
Jacoby
completely
Brissett
ineffective.
throw the ball fucking 41 times.
Well, your running back was carrying for 1.5 yards per carry. So
I would
what are
have
you
kept
gonna
feeding
do?
them. I would have kept feeding them.
You gave him the ball 19
Derrick
times. He had 19
Henry
yards.
was averaging 2.7 yards per carry last week, and they kept feeding him.
Well, guess what? Against Buffalo, that ain't
14
gonna work.
carries is not enough for Nick Chubb. Period. 14 carries is not a fucking enough.
Listen,
you need to put 10 more on there.
Do you want me to be honest? I think we're really, really missing the mark here with some of these fucking teams. Everybody is really, really missing the mark because you want to sit here and stand up for these teams that Jacoby Brissett, great performance, 117
performance.
QBR.
And
28 to 41.
He'll be benched in 2 more weeks.
3 touchdowns, 325 yards, and nobody wants to talk about that. Absolutely fabulous performance. He absolutely torched Buffalo's secondary.
Yeah. And he'll be benched in 2 weeks.
But guess what? Good teams get it done.
Yeah.
Period.
True.
So you want to sit here and crown the Lions for turning the corner, then crown the Bills too for stopping Nick Chubb, just like the Lions did to Barkley.
Okay.
That's the issue I have because I knew it. I knew we'd get on here and everybody talk shit about that Bills win, but everybody was going to praise the Lions.
Shit.
You just like the cream of the crop, man.
No, I don't. You sit here and say I like the cream of the crop.
Pick and choose.
I hate Philadelphia.
Pick and
Every
choose.
episode I've said all
but
year,
that's the thing.
I've hated
Pick and choose.
That's
Philadelphia.
the thing. I disagree with him.
I don't like Tampa.
I think Buffalo's better than Philadelphia.
Thank you.
But record shows different. But I still think it's.
Let's talk about Philadelphia because it was 17-16 final in Indianapolis. Philadelphia scored with 1 minute and 24 seconds left on a Jalen Hurts run. And if anything in this game, Jalen Hurts, for me, is starting to separate himself for MVP candidate. Why, you may ask? Why? Great. He had 190 yards passing. He had 86 yards on the ground. Because now I firmly, in my heart of hearts, believe if there's anybody else at quarterback for this team, they wouldn't have anywhere near the record they are. Because I'll tell you what, the last 2 weeks now, we've seen them get completely and utterly exposed. We know how this team operates now. And if you didn't have, Jalen Hurts' decision-making, because from what I'm seeing, there's nobody in the league who knows how to tuck and when to run that ball quite like Jalen Hurts. He knows when to fucking take off. That is saving them over and over. I saw multiple occasions yesterday on 2nd and 8, 3rd and 6, him tuck and run for 10, 12 yards. And guess what? It's effective. The guy is running the ball extremely well. It's taking pressure off of the passing game. All right. The offensive line, I'll tell you what, isn't playing all that well. Miles Sanders can't get established in a running game. They don't have a very good running back. They have a great receiving core that, for the most part, the last 2 weeks has not been productive because Jalen Hurts is running the ball so effectively. At the end of the day, I don't think Philadelphia's defense is nearly as good as we've seen before the last 2 weeks. All right, and I know they went and made the Linville Joseph move, and I know they went out and got Ndamukong Suh, but Jonathan Taylor ran the ball effectively enough to keep the Colts in this game. Ultimately, in the red zone, the Eagles secondary was too strong and Matt Ryan couldn't really get anything done. But Matt Ryan threw for 213 yards. He was 23 of 32. He had a 90 overall QBR. Pittman, 75 yards. But what this game essentially came down to is Philadelphia's secondary stepping up when they needed to. I think the front is a little bit worse than we thought. And I think that's a true testament to how good of a player Jordan Davis is. And this team keeps winning on the shoulders of Jalen Hurts. Now, do I think that is sustainable? Quite frankly, no. I think A.J. Brown's a little bit nicked up injury-wise because I got news for you. Watching him run routes yesterday, he didn't look nearly as crisp as he had in previous weeks. Quez Watkins, that was a beautiful touchdown grab from him. I thought it was A.J. Brown before I saw the number. And Devonta Smith has been, very consistent over the last couple of weeks. But they've got to get this situation sorted out because if you're relying on Jalen Hurts to run the ball 16 times for 90 yards, you sit here and say it about Justin Fields all the time. You sit here and say it about Josh Allen all the time. You can't sustain winning teams on the shoulders of the quarterback running the ball for 100 yards.
I agree. I'm an advocate of that. I told you that before.
Right. So, but what's the issue?
They continue to win. They can't run the ball.
They cannot.
They can't run the ball. And they're not the only team that has this issue. A lot of these teams have this issue. The bad thing is the offensive line for Philadelphia is one of the top lines in this league.
Well, that's what I
they haven't gotten it. They haven't gotten it rolling.
I mean, is Miles Sanders that bad? Like, is their running back core that bad?
Boston's got to come in, and he was actually pounding out some yards. He was, I mean, I don't know what to say. I just don't think they're utilizing in between the tackles guy
the correct way.
Because I'll be honest with you, if you guys look at the way the playoff picture is set up right now, and we're going to get to Minnesota and Dallas next, but you want to talk about the top of these divisions? Like, I don't think Philadelphia is as strong as their record reflects. I don't think Minnesota is as strong as their record reflects. I don't think Miami is as strong as their record reflects, Tennessee or Baltimore. I mean, so in this playoff picture, I think right now it's wide open outside of Kansas City, because Kansas City, to me, after this weekend, I think has the edge on Buffalo. But it's tough to tell. I mean, watching that happen to the Eagles 2 weeks in a row, realistically, and I know they came out of it with a 1-point fucking win, and a win is a win in this league, but watching what happened to the Eagles 2 weeks in a row after seeing what they've done up to that point in the year is shocking to me. It's very hard to comprehend how a team can go from being as dominant as they were to...
Who did the Colts play last week?
The Raiders.
They won.
Decisively.
It wasn't even close.
This
is the same team that took on
Kansas
City Chiefs and absolutely ass-pummeled them.
Yes, I'm aware.
Okay? So I don't think that they're as bad as what people think.
So, I mean, is Frank Reich just that stupid? Is he just that stupid? Is Frank Reich just that stupid then?
I truly think that
if that's true, he had the keys to the kingdom and just
I don't understand why he would bench Matt Ryan for that fucking rookie.
Well,
because that's ridiculous. You know what? The owner needs to sit there and just open up his bottle and shut the fuck up.
Well, I mean, because you have to remember, yes, they did beat Kansas City 20-17.
That was Matt Ryan.
Correct. And then
not
lost
fucking Sam Ellinger. They dropped how many games with the kid?
Matt Ryan lost to Tennessee, beat Denver,
in a tough
beat
game.
Jacksonville.
In a tough game. That Tennessee game was right down to the wire.
And then they played Tennessee again and lost. And then they played Washington and lost. And then Ellinger lost to New England. So
Ellinger lost to Washington and
New England. Correct. But after the second loss to Tennessee was when they pulled the hook on Matt Ryan.
Well, he got hurt.
Correct.
Got knocked around. But you know what? They've been a different team ever since he's come back. because they're starting to get back some of their guys back, and they're getting the full strength. And Jonathan Taylor is starting to get healthy, and you can see what happens when he gets healthy.
I'll agree with you there. The run, Jonathan Taylor looked different.
I just don't think that we write off the Eagles because they won a 1-point game against the Colts.
At what point did I write off the Eagles? The Eagles
I'm
are
just
guaranteed
saying I'm not
playoff
writing them off. I'm just saying they played a tough team on the road, and they gutted one out.
I'm not writing off the Eagles, but
Right.
At the end of the day, when the Eagles were winning as decisively as they were, and then they get exposed by Washington, okay? Are we going to sit here and talk about how great Washington is now?
Well, we know Washington's. I'm not even going to go there. I'm the one who's a big fan of the Washington interior defense. They have two of the best defensive tackles in football on their team, Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen. Those are two of the best guys in the fucking league, period. Bar none. Both first-round picks. Their entire fucking defensive line is first-round picks.
Yes, and they gave Dameon Pierce absolute fucking hell yesterday as Washington went into Houston and won 23-10.
And Heineke is magic.
Taylor Heineke, 15 completions on 27 attempts, 191 yards.
That's all he needed.
That's all he needed.
That's all he fucking
Truly.
needed. And you know what? When a team doesn't turn the ball over, because they were up big in that game too.
Yeah.
And
Game was over at the half.
that game was over.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 20-10 at the half.
And,
it was.
Nobody better sleep on this fucking NFC East is a fucking juggernaut.
Well, I want to talk about that a little bit too, because I think there's a couple of teams in there that are falling quickly. But Dameon Pierce, 10 rushes for 8 yards. And you want to
and he's a premier guy in this league. He's
Correct.
no punk.
And you want to give kudos to the Commanders' defensive front. That was all them. That was all them, without a doubt. Brendan Cooks had a little reemergence, 3 receptions for 70 yards. At least he put up some
he's
points.
A weirdo. I don't know what his deal is, dude. He's just shut the fuck up.
Nico Collins, 5 for 48. On the Commanders side of the ball, Antonio Gibson, 18 rushes for 72 yards. That's 4 per carry. Brian Robinson, 15 for 57. So that pretty much even split there continues. Logan Thomas, 5 receptions, 65 yards. Terry McLaurin, 4 for 55. Gibson also added 31 yards through the air.
Nice win for them.
I'll be honest with you. Washington looked better yesterday than the Giants did. Hands down.
Well,
Granted, they were playing Houston.
right.
But if in comparison...
I agree with that.
Yeah.
They did look better.
And I'll tell
Early
you what.
on, the Giants won a lot of games early in this season by a couple of points. They were just getting hot. They were winning games at the end of the game and kicking a field goal or going up by a point and winning. And this is going to come back to show sooner or later.
I'll be honest. I don't know how Washington is truly utilizing their running back duos. Absolutely fucking picture perfectly. It's almost 40 carries a game. They both run for 4 yards per carry. They're both the vision of consistency. I think it's a perfect changeup of looks between Robinson and Gibson. And you know what? I'll be honest with you. They're going to continue to win a few more games. And that they're going to throw a wrench into this thing. Because I think Washington is one of those teams that's trending up heavy. Whereas the Giants are trending down.
Yeah, but the Dallas
Slightly.
Cowboys 2 weeks ago got manhandled by Green Bay.
Okay.
Okay? So I'm going to be honest with you. The divisional games mean everything in this race. They mean everything.
Listen, out of any game I have watched all year, the one with I take the biggest grain of salt is the Dallas-Minnesota game. And I get it. They decimated Minnesota. The Cowboys.
We both called that game.
Okay.
We both called.
He did too. All three of us
All
did.
three of us took Dallas.
I at first took Minnesota, but then I realized Kirk Cousins was at 1 o'clock. Then I changed my.
I don't know what the fuck it is.
I don't know what happened.
No, it's Kirk Cousins not at 1 o'clock.
can't
It
play.
doesn't make sense.
He can't play an afternoon game or a night game.
No. I mean, it was absolutely fucking
Atrocious.
awful.
And I will say this.
They pulled him
I'm
to put in
going to be honest with you. Early in that
Mike
game,
Mullins.
early in this game, Mike McCarthy did everything in his power to fuck this game up. You know that, and I'm not kidding either.
I know.
Even Dak Prescott, early in this game, did everything he could to get this fucking game.
And
right.
I mean, my God, if Jerry Jones was listening, you got to get rid of Zeke. Because all he's doing at this point, realistically, all he is fucking doing, and I get it, they give him the ball on the goal line, he got 2 tuds.
Well, yeah, if you look at his stat line, look at Jamal Williams, there's not much
of a difference, but
except for Jamal Williams had one more touchdown.
And here's the biggest difference is,
Yeah.
I mean, the Justin Jackson thing was beautiful for 1 week, but Tony Pollard is consistently doing this. Tony Pollard,
he had 6 catches for 109 yards,
9 yards of total offense. I mean, there's what else can you say that
Dalvin Cook had 11 carries, 72 yards.
And you know
on
what?
11 carries.
I know.
That's nice.
That is nice.
That's real nice.
And I
You know
mean,
what that tells me? They didn't do it enough.
well, I mean, here's the thing. I don't think they had a chance to.
Yeah.
It was constantly fucking 3 and out. Constantly. Because
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins got sacked 7 fucking times. I mean,
Yeah, if you
in
can't
3
protect
quarters.
Riley Reef was absolutely
I thought he was going to say Riley Reed.
Riley Reef,
He was
former
on roller
Detroit
skates.
Lion,
Roller
first-round pick,
skates. Roller skates.
was absolutely molested yesterday
Yeah.
on camera in front of everybody. How many times did Mecca Parsons absolutely obliterate Kirk Cousins
Over and
because
over
Riley
and
Reef
over.
couldn't block him?
Okay. I'm going to tell you this now. I think Dallas at this current moment has the best defensive front in football. And
Well, I mean, DeMarcus Lawrence is money.
They are playing out of their mind. I'll say that. What I don't like about Dallas and what I think makes them pretty even with years in the past is 1, Mike McCarthy, and 2, Dak Prescott. And I don't trust either of them to 1, win games down the stretch.
And I don't think their offensive line is very good.
I don't think their offensive line. Well,
I'm going to be honest.
I mean, it's hard to say that with the way the running backs are playing right now, but
Well, I don't think they're very good, to be honest with you. I've watched them, and they're inconsistent.
yeah, but I mean, they ran for 130 yards yesterday.
One game they look good, the next game they look like fucking utter
That is
dog
true.
shit.
That is true because they looked awful against Green Bay. So
Yes. They could do nothing. They could do nothing to stop that front of Green Bay.
yeah, I
They could
agree.
do nothing.
But I think Dallas's defense, if Mike McCarthy doesn't make mistakes and Dak Prescott just hands the ball off, Dallas could make a serious push. Do I think either of those things are going to happen? No. Mike McCarthy will piss something away at some point, and Dak Prescott will play like shit. But
I'm just surprised that Mike McCarthy's still a coach of this team.
I mean, you
me-
can't
to me,
argue
I don't
with
get
it
it.
right now. That saved that win. They were fucking 2-point favorites going in and win that game by 37 points.
Yeah. It's the only thing that probably saved his job this week, isn't it? I don't know. I don't think Jerry Jones is going anywhere from him.
No, I think he's happy with what Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, but
things right now.
God bless the Minnesota Vikings, and
I don't see.
that. Hopefully they can
That's-
shake the dirt off themselves
That's
this week,
not-
get back up.
Hopefully they don't.
I truly don't.
I think you got a bad look at what they are not.
Correct.
They are not that team that
No.
showed up yesterday.
No, they're not. And I'll tell you this much: going forward, they play New England on Thursday night on Thanksgiving at
Okay.
8:30. I expect them to
Fuck.
wholeheartedly lose that game.
8:30?
Yep.
Yeah, they're done.
Yeah, they will lose
Yeah,
that
they're
game
going to lose another game.
at home against New England, and I think
Yeah.
they'll get eviscerated in that game.
Yeah.
Wait. The night game Thanksgiving is them?
Is Minnesota, New England, and then they play the Jets at 1:00 at home
Fuck.
in Detroit at 1:00.
Wait a minute. What are you fucking about?
I just hate
Hold on.
Thanksgiving.
Hold on a minute. You
Dallas
want
game.
Minnesota to play New England.
I know.
You know why? We want them to beat them.
I just don't want 3 games on Thanksgiving, is what I'm saying. But
Anyway, what's the
fuck up.
difference, dude? What do
It gives you
fucking
something to
care?
do after everybody else
Yeah.
is fucking
listen,
drunk.
I'm gonna be carried out of Ford Field Thursday, so I don't even want to.
What does that mean?
That means I'm going to be belligerently
He's got
fucking
a yak
hammered.
on himself, or it's not a good
so he's
Thanksgiving.
going to smoke a fatty before he goes, drink 5 beers, and puke.
Well, I'm going to be down there at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So.
He's
Anyway.
5 a.m.
Jesus Christ.
We're going to talk about that on
This
tomorrow's
is
show.
the reason why nobody can take their fucking kids to a football game.
Listen, Minnesota going forward, they will lose on Thanksgiving. Then they play the Jets at 1 o'clock, at Ford Field, 1 o'clock. Indianapolis, time TBD, because I know they're trying to flex that to a prime time. And then at home against the Giants at 1 o'clock, at Green Bay at 4:30, and then Chicago's still TBD. So let's say they lose to New England, and they lose to Green Bay.
Hey,
What? You
the
think
Minnesota
we're gonna beat
Lions.
Detroit?
The Minnesota Lions.
I think that Minnesota is going to beat Detroit.
Yeah.
that
at
game's
Ford Field.
that game is always a toss-up.
Yeah.
Always.
I agree.
Doesn't matter
They let
what team's
Mac-
good or what
Dan
team's
Campbell
bad.
let the first one get away.
Listen, I'm not going to say anything else about the Lions.
Yeah, anyway,
Everybody
it's nice to see the Lions actually playing for something
What are they
on
playing?
Thanksgiving.
But what are they playing for?
Positioning
In
the division.
positioning in the division for what?
Right.
They're not going to win it.
We're
Well, that's
second
not
right now.
necessarily so.
We're in second.
Hold the fuck
So-
on. So
If Minnesota shits the bed this week
yes, if
and
Minnesota
Detroit wins, they're 3 games back.
right, and they play
And
each
they
other,
still
and
have
let's
to play
say
each
Detroit
other.
wins, then they're 2 games back,
Then they still have to play each
and
other.
then so Minnesota has to win. Minnesota has to lose 2 out of 4, 2 more out of 4, and the Lions have to win
Win out.
out. So we're
They
gonna
have to
sit
win
here.
out.
We're gonna sit here in the real world.
The real
Talk
world.
about the Lions now. Talk about the
Possibly
Lions
winning out.
now winning out.
It's 1 game at a time, Sam.
Oh,
It is one game at a time.
1 game at a time.
Gotta love the
but no,
game.
but
Gotta
see,
love the
that's
game
the
of
whole
football,
thing.
baby.
That's the whole thing. Don't sit here and bring up, oh, they're playing for position this week.
Yeah.
Position themselves where?
Positioning
In second place in the worst division
positioning
in football?
themselves right out of the top 10 of the draft.
Yeah. There we go. Now that makes me happy.
Okay.
That makes me happy.
That you happy now?
I don't really care.
Anyway, let's talk about the fucking game. That was
Chicago headed down to Atlanta to play the Falcons and unfortunately lost on a last-minute field goal. The Falcons bested them 27-24. And I'll tell you what, this, for me, was the most entertaining game of the weekend. I'm sorry. It was. It was
I
back
didn't
and
think
forth.
so.
It
I
was
thought
a
there
battle.
was a game better than this.
It was a battle. Justin Fields, 18 rushes, 85 yards, and a touchdown. David Montgomery, 17 for 67. Fields was 14-21 through the air, 153 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 pick. Honest to God, Cordero Patterson with his 9th career
It was 105 yards, right?
kickoff return for a touchdown. Yes, 105 yards. That added on to his 10 rushes for 52 yards, but he did fumble once. Algiers, 88 for 55. Kyle Pitts, 3 receptions for 43 yards. One of his best games of the year, and then he tore his MCL and is gone forever. Thank God.
Aaron Hernandez.
Marcus Mariota, 13 for 20, 131 and a touchdown. So here again, another game where, I mean, just absolutely fucking average at best quarterbacking performance, and the team decided to win the game.
Yeah.
You know something? And I've
It was a close game all the way down to the end.
Chicago keeps losing these fucking games late. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Justin Fields, I think it's time for him to start sitting back.
He needs to
He's not going to do that.
instead of
He's not
taking
going to
off
do
and
that.
running, he needs to play within
He
the
doesn't
system.
know how to do that.
No, he does.
No,
know
he
how to
has
do
been
that. He
doing
has
that.
shown us-
I think he's been doing a good job
He
at
has
it.
shown us that he can. But I think the issue in this game
It's just
was
his 18 fucking runs.
he got
need to
too cute.
stop.
He got too cute.
Listen.
Like he does every
You want to
game.
run the ball 5-10 times a game? I'm good with that.
Yep.
But 18 times is too
Why
much.
are you guys surprised?
What?
Why are you surprised?
What do you mean?
This is what Justin Fields does. It's what he's done since he's been in the league.
Yes.
Here's
but
the thing.
what-
In key situations, he's missing fucking receivers,
Correct.
and he's
Correct.
not playing
he's
within the way
looking
he
to
should.
run
be.
too much.
Too much.
All right. And I mean,
And that
Chicago's
takes it out of you too, dude. I mean, the guy, I get it. The guy's a great athlete, but he's huffing and puffing and blowing fucking
Chicago's first-
trombones by the fourth quarter.
first in rushing yards, 32nd in passing yards. You need to even those
you need
two
to
out a
even
little
that
bit.
out. Where's Jalen Hurts on that?
I have no idea.
Probably.
Jalen Hurts is right there with him, I bet. But Jalen Hurts is throwing for more yards.
Correct.
Yeah, so he's probably more towards the middle.
If you look at, I want to talk about this. The Bears, the last 3 games, they lost by a field goal to Atlanta, they lost by 1 to Detroit, and lost by a field goal to Miami. I'm sorry, but I still think Chicago is a little bit better than the record reflects. I will say this.
I'll agree with that.
If they wouldn't have made the moves to get rid of Roquan Smith and Robert Quinn, I think a couple of those games that they lost by 3 are flip-flopping a little bit.
I'll agree with that because Roquan didn't want to be there.
Well, guess what? I mean, he played there for half the year anyway.
Listen, they're professionals, dude.
They got back what they could for him.
At the end of the day, they're professionals.
He's still going to perform.
You're
yes,
playing,
but he didn't.
You're playing for a paycheck.
That's all I'm saying. That was out of their control.
Either way, they got back what they could for him. But I'll say this much: I think Chicago's Achilles heel at the moment is the defensive front. Now they took something that was very nice and essentially shittied it up.
They're not playing with the same intensity on defense as they were prior.
No, I agree.
Prior to the
I agree
Robert Quinn and leaving. And
on the other hand, I'm going to be brutally honest. I think Atlanta's doing this with smoke and mirrors right now. And
you know what? Their defense has stepped up. Their defense is playing a lot better than they. And
I'm not going to knock their defense, but their offense, they are winning. They won this game, and I don't even know how, because realistically, none of their receivers are.
Mariota
effective.
ran in for that touchdown.
Yeah, it was Marcus Mariota put the team on his back when he needed to and ran one in, but the receivers are ineffective. Okay, Kyle Pitts has been shit all year. Now he's out, and he is realistically, I mean, outside of Drake London, the best guy they have. And if you want to hear about Drake London's stat line yesterday, there's not going to be much to fucking hear about because he had 1 reception for 2 yards.
Okay.
So Chicago did a good job of shutting him down.
Yeah, but they got Zacharias.
Old Medea Zacchaeus, 1 reception for 9 yards.
Yeah.
Kadarel Hodge, 1 reception for 13 yards. You know, Kyle Pitts led the team in receptions with 3. Yeah. So Marcus Mariota is not.
You see what they were doing? They were running the fucking football. I mean, come on.
I get it, but at the end of the day, I don't think that's very sustainable. I mean, Algier.
And I will say this: David Montgomery is not the best running back on that team.
Well, clearly,
I truly believe they're missing him big time.
I think they are too.
Yeah,
I think they are too. But
not to say he didn't do a good job.
I called that at the beginning of the season, dude.
Huh?
I called it at the beginning of the season that Montgomery's not the guy there.
Here's the issue, and I'll be honest. Atlanta's not very good at running the ball, and they're for sure not good at throwing the ball. So that's why I went with Chicago in this game. Evidently, I was wrong.
That's why I took the Falcons.
Because they're not good at running the ball or throwing the ball? That's why you picked them?
No, I picked the Falcons because I thought they were better than the Bears.
Because they can run and throw better than the Bears.
Well, but they.
I mean, if you looked at this game,
obviously they didn't throw the ball.
But Atlanta's defense, they were at home, and their defense stepped up when they needed to.
I love how you keep saying they were at home. I mean,
that's a big effect.
They were at home, dude. That means a lot, dude.
It does mean a lot.
Come on, dude.
Please.
Play in front of the hometown crowd. Do you understand about divisional games yet? Are you guys starting to see
this wasn't a divisional game?
You don't gotta look at me.
Listen to me.
I know.
Did anybody watch the game of the week yesterday?
Which was
Cincinnati-Pittsburgh.
No,
That game was played at a very high fucking level, defensively and offensively. High level.
Okay, we'll get there when we get to the nightcap. Yeah, but here you could sit here and tout how great New England is in this 10-3 win over the Jets.
I already said that they have won on the default, and the league shit the bed. The league shit the bed and covered their shitty bed up with the usual answer they always do. Oh, we looked at it and he hit him from the side. No, he didn't. It was a fucking illegal block. It should never have been a touchdown. Period.
Okay.
Period.
Agree. I'm gonna say this much. If there was anything that I needed to feel good about, it's the fact that I don't think New England's going to win very many more games.
I will say, you know what? I don't believe that for 1 minute. You want to know why? And I'm going to tell you why. as shitty as fucking Mac Jones was yesterday, 23 of 27, 246.
Yeah.
That is not a bad stat line.
No.
That is not a bad stat line.
No.
And he was sacked how many fucking times yesterday?
A whole bunch.
He was sacked 6 times yesterday by a very good Jets defense. Gangrene. God bless.
And here's the whole thing.
Gangrene.
They are, as soon as they make it.
Who is shittier in this league at quarterback? We all said that Justin Fields was the worst quarterback in the league.
No, Zach
We were
Wilson.
fucking wrong.
Yeah, Zach
It's
Wilson.
Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson
He is
absolutely
fucking trash.
awful. And they asked him after the game, do you think you let the defense down? And he just candidly said no.
No, 9 of 22 for 77 yards. Are you fucking joking me? At what point do you just pull the plug on this kid and put fucking the ghost of fucking
Joe, I mean, the offense looks so much better with Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco in there?
Yeah.
At least they were fucking scoring 25 points a game. And you know what? I'm not even going to say anything about them not being able to run the fucking football. This guy is trash, dude.
Well, their bell cow's out, so.
You know what? I'm so sick of that too.
No,
they got
I
Michael
don't-
Carter and James
Michael
Robinson.
Carter is
They are
very
both
good running
effective backs in this league, and one went for 19 and one went for 10. I don't care. We know the Jets' offense. Realistically, until they put Joe Flacco back in, write him off.
Yeah,
Write 'em off.
I'm afraid to even fucking play anybody off the
Their
Jets.
defense is playing beautiful
Dude, they
football.
have-
That's why I only have
They
players on their
have
defense.
This is no bullshit. There was 2 wide receivers in this last draft. The 2 best wide receivers from Ohio State, both of them, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave. Garrett Wilson is a fucking goddamn ghost. He's a ghost.
Goes. Because
A
Zach
fucking
Wilson's
ghost.
completely ineffective.
You have one of the best receivers in this fucking game, young receivers, and you are not throwing the football to him.
So, we know that. We know what the Jets' issues are. Zach Wilson's ineffective. The running backs are ineffective. The offense is completely
Putrid.
impotent. The defense looks beautiful. For New England,
At what point does Robert Saleh say, I can't do this anymore?
probably this week, but
He has to.
I want to talk about the fucking Patriots because what I saw yesterday was, one, Belichick did the most Belichickian thing ever, and it looks like he gave the ball to Damian Harris in every good running situation. And Ramondre Stevenson
He's a fucking
got
beast.
double the carries for 1/3 of the yards. So now I think we're going to see this swap back happen. And I think you're going to see Damian Harris be the lead runner for this team again going forward.
Fuck, eh?
That's,
I don't even know how you could say how this could happen.
Because it's
I don't
Belichick.
get it. But in the situations that they were giving Stevenson the ball, the they were trying to run wide on the Jets defense.
I'm aware.
And my man was getting dropped for 1-2 yards at a pop.
I mean, he
That's not
1.7
his
yard
game.
average. No.
His game is running in between the tackles. What the fuck are you doing?
And Damian
And
Harris
you know
is
what?
the guy.
You know what? You want to know what it is? You want to know what the English problem is?
Didn't fucking-
Oh, go ahead. Tell me Matt Patricia.
Bag,
Tell me
the
Matt
shit
Patricia.
bag offensive coordinator is absolute fucking garbage.
No.
How this guy has a fucking job in the NFL?
Nope.
Who is he blowing? I want to know who the fuck he's blowing.
Belichick.
Because it's fucking horrible, dude. How this guy can have a fucking job in this league, it's fucking unspeakable. Unspeakable.
And here's the other thing. And you want to blame this one on Belichick, or I mean on Patricia, that's fine. In the red zone,
They're awful.
it looks like this. They've never been there before.
My
It's
God.
absolutely awful. And Mac Jones, you want to talk? He had a 105 QBR. He had a decent game. He only missed 4 passes.
Listen, Jacoby
250
Jacoby Myers is a true number 1 receiver in this league.
Agree.
And this guy doesn't get a fucking ball thrown his way. What a fucking joke, dude.
Bailey Zappi.
I mean,
No, it's not about the quarterbacks. You know what this is about? It's about fucking coaching. And shame on Bill Belichick. Shame on Bill Belichick right now. Because it's coaching, and he needs to do something about it.
Thank
He needs to get rid of Matt Patricia.
fucking finally.
Matt Patricia is absolute trash. The defense is solid. Their defense held them in that game yesterday. You got 2 guys
Hold on.
that lead the league in sacks. The 2 top sack leaders in the fucking league are both from New England.
The
What?
defense plays very nice.
They're
But
very stout,
against
dude.
against
Very
that
stout.
Jets offense, I mean, let's be real here.
Listen, how many times was he sacked? This asshole was sacked 4 times. Okay,
I know.
He was sacked 4
but,
times.
I mean, let's be real.
They had a total of 23 yards rushing.
Can you finally now?
23.
I'm aware. Can you finally now resonate with
I'm
what
not
I've been
writing
saying?
off Bill Belichick. He's the greatest coach ever.
I didn't write him
Period.
off. I didn't write him off.
And I'm not
But
writing off the
shit-
Patriots either because they continue to win.
The shit that he is doing.
Dude, they just won another game. Where are they, 6 and 4?
The shit that he is
They're
doing
6 and 4, correct.
makes no fucking sense. The shit that Belichick does makes no sense.
Has it ever though?
Yes.
No,
there's-
because you know what? This is a division. I'm going to go back to that.
Oh, mother.
Divisional game.
This is like the
Divisional
6th
game.
time.
These guys approach divisional games with a different intensity.
Oh my God! Since
They do.
it's
right.
You
1965
think I'm
again.
right. You
He's
think I'm
right.
wrong. I'm right, asshole.
He's right, but this is the 6th time we've talked about it.
I mean,
so.
what do you, yeah. I mean,
Did anybody watch this game? Seriously.
no.
Did you
the
see?
Jets Patriots game.
Yes.
Yes, I fell asleep 3 different fucking times.
Well, you needed to wake up.
Okay, and you said it
Well,
yourself.
those-
The only reason New England won this game is because the fucking refs fell asleep too.
Was that a
Yep.
420 game?
No, it was an early game.
1:00?
Okay, and hold on. This
at
New
1:00.
England going forward, they're going to beat Minnesota this week. You want to talk about the game of the year? The game of the year. It's going to come down to December 1st in Gillette against Buffalo at 8:15 on Thursday night. That's the game we'll see what New England
Back here with
actually is.
Buffalo again.
That's what game.
And hey, if last
disagree?
year,
It's-
year, if you remember, New England went into Buffalo, beat Buffalo.
Oh Jesus! In the fucking snow, didn't matter because Buffalo
No,
already
it
had
was
their playoff.
It was a
position
hurricane.
locked.
It had like fucking 40-mile-an-hour winds.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
I think
it was a
what's
10,
his
I
name?
think it was 10-3 or some
What
shit.
did he have? What was his stat line passing? Like fucking
Mac Jones.
20 yards.
Yeah, it was like 3 completions for 20 yards. But they play in Buffalo on January 8th again.
There you go. I'm all for it.
But you want to talk about a division game that has ton of merit? Thursday night, Buffalo, New England on December 1st. That's going to be a very, very important game.
I'd want to talk about one of the divisional games from yesterday that I watched, and I'm going to say this:
Pump our fucking wood.
Kenny Pickett.
Here we go.
Kenny Pickett is a good quarterback.
Oh God.
He makes Zach Wilson look like utter dog shit. Utter dog shit.
For the first time
that
this
kid,
year, you're right.
This
Smeared on the
kid
bottom of
here,
your boot.
he threw the ball 40 times, and he was under duress the entire fucking game. He was sacked twice. He was under duress more than I've seen guys in his
Yeah, he threw
position
the
as a
ball
rookie.
A lot.
I mean, okay.
Joe Burrow, what can you say about Joe Burrow? 24 of 39, 355,
Thank
and
you.
4 touchdowns.
Thank you.
Holy
Waiting.
Christ. The only thing
You
that
lost Joe
crushed
Mixon.
him was the 2 picks. He threw one right into TJ Watt's arms.
Yep.
He must have been watching Aiden Hutchinson catching fucking interceptions at the line of scrimmage. What kind of shit is that? But Najee Harris had a good game.
Yep.
He had fucking 20 carries for 90 yards and 2 touchdowns.
First of the year for him. First good game of the year for him.
George Pickens, 4 receptions, 83 yards and a touchdown, and he fucking was wide open. And Pickett missed him in the end zone.
I saw that one.
He should have had
Awful.
2.
I mean,
Two.
realistically, that was the best game Pittsburgh has played all
Yeah.
year. Kenny Pickett showed that if he's in a situation where he's got to throw the ball a whole bunch of times, he can be effective. I will say he did miss a lot of open guys at points.
You know, at one
growing
point,
pains.
this guy was
Growing.
under
He's
so much
growing.
duress.
I
I
agree.
could say okay.
He's a young lad
I'm
out
okay
there.
with it because of the duress he was under.
I thought Cincinnati's
Normal guys
defense,
couldn't handle that.
I thought Cincinnati's defense did a very good job.
They
of
were
rushing the
excellent
passer.
yesterday.
Um,
They were excellent.
and
And
realistically,
Pittsburgh's defense was good.
Pittsburgh's defense played a nice game
Yeah.
as well. But I'm going to
Watt
say
shows
this
up big
much.
time.
Now, Cincinnati, okay, and this is why I'm skeptical right now about Baltimore solely.
This is why I'm skeptical about Cincinnati. And I'm going to tell you
They've
that.
won 2 in a row
I get that, but what's his name went out hurt?
without Jamar Chase,
No, I'm not talking about Chase.
and they won that game yesterday on the back of Samaje Perine because
Right.
Joe Mixon was out.
And who else was out?
Jamar
T.
Chase.
Higgins went out hurt. in that
T.
game.
Higgins is, it was bumped up, but he'll be back. They already cleared it.
Yeah, well,
T. Higgins had a
that
fabulous
didn't look good to
game
me
yesterday.
because he grabbed his back.
He was. They already.
Yeah.
I saw a report after the game that he was good, but he had a absolute monster game. T. Higgins 9 receptions, 148 yards. Samaje Perine 4 receptions for 52 and 3 tuds. And here's the whole thing: the way that Joe Burrow utilizes his running backs in the passing game is very good with Joe Mixon out, because Perine is a great pass catcher out of the backfield. And if they get Jamar Chase back this week, I don't think they really miss a beat. And the other thing, and I this is why I'm starting to really feel momentum with Cincinnati. One, they're a game behind Baltimore. Okay?
Yep.
They play Tennessee this week coming up. That is a must-win game for them. And then they have Kansas City, Cleveland, and Tampa.
I agree.
If they can get Jamar Chase healthy this week and go into Tennessee and pull that game out, I think we're talking about a whole different situation.
Well, they have to play him head up too.
Yeah, I don't think they win that matchup.
Well, I think this game all depends on if Jamar Chase can get on the field this week, and
Right.
if Mixon can clear concussion.
We got
protocol.
to see if Lamar Jackson is even healthy.
Well, no,
enough
they
to
play Tennessee this
because
week.
he's sick as a dog.
That's another big question mark that
Yeah.
I have is Baltimore, and we can talk about that fucking dumpster of a
Mark
game.
Andrews came back. He wasn't his normal
No.
self. He's obviously playing
All right.
hobbled.
So Baltimore played Carolina at home, and we're able to pull that one out 13-3 late. Okay. Again, and we can continue to talk about this. In Baltimore coming up, they's at Jacksonville, at home against Denver, at Pittsburgh. So realistically, they don't have nearly as tough of a schedule going forward as Cincinnati. But this is what really is starting to worry me about Baltimore. And point blank, and I say it every week, they don't have a consistent fucking pass catcher. And Demarcus Robinson was lights out yesterday, 9 for 128.
Yeah.
But now we don't.
Next
even
week
know-
he'll catch one ball for fucking 5 yards.
and he's questionable going into this week. He got banged up in that game
Yep.
because he was the only thing they had. Mark Andrews 6 for 63, but I agree with you wholeheartedly that Mark Andrews did not look
No,
fabulous.
He wasn't himself.
He
no.
looked slow. And Kenyon Drake is not going to be your bell cow running back.
No.
He 10 for 46 yesterday. Yeah, that's fine. But when you're Lamar Jackson should not be throwing the ball 33 times and running it 11. It shouldn't be
You know
happening,
what?
especially
I'm
when
good
he's
with
sick.
Lamar Jackson running the ball 11 times. That's nice. 11 times is good.
But it wasn't
No more
very
than that.
effective.
When
No
you start
more
getting
than
into
that.
18, 20 carries as a fucking quarterback, no good.
He was not very effective running the ball
He was
yesterday.
sick.
I'm aware, but
You could see they were giving him fucking oxygen on the sidelines. Fucking guy was dying. He's puking his
I'm
guts.
sorry, Baltimore. I have to see them. And again, I've said this last week. Baltimore so far, in my opinion, does not have one exclamation point, absolutely bona fide decisive win so far this year. And if you go up and down their schedule, if you want to talk about the Jets, they did beat the Jets pretty decisively.
Yes.
They won a tight one at New England. They beat Cincinnati by 2. They beat Cleveland by a field goal. They
I
beat
think
Tampa
the
by
Cincinnati
5.
game is huge. That's a divisional game.
It's
There,
you have the name of the episode, by the way. It's
What?
a divisional game. That's it.
Yeah, I can't.
And then they play at Cincinnati last game of the year.
Like 8 years.
can't
I
wait
can
for
feel
that.
it.
That could decide the division.
That
That could decide the division.
it probably will.
To be honest with you.
Cincinnati's got to win some tough ones down the stretch, but it probably will.
I don't know how many game lead does Baltimore have on
One.
them? 1 game lead.
One game.
Yeah.
And as far as Carolina goes,
What can you say?
Baker Mayfield's so
mean,
fucking bad at football.
If Baker
this team looked completely
if
different
Baker
with PJ
Mayfield
Walker.
continues to be the quarterback, I wouldn't be.
Well, here's the thing. For Baker Mayfield to play as poorly as he has and then not to go to Sam Darnold must be pretty fucking bad.
but he's not. And I remember Darnold. He was not that bad.
Listen to me. He's
I
got to be pretty fucking bad.
I actually don't mind Darnold.
Okay. Let's talk.
What do we got left?
We've got Las Vegas going into Denver and beating the Raiders. You know what's fucked up?
What a fucking throw. What? Derek Carr, what a fucking throw at the end of that.
I knew this was gonna fucking happen.
I was like,
don't know why I
holy
took the
shit.
Broncos.
And I can't believe that fucking Adams was wide open. How can that guy be that wide open?
I mean,
I don't get it.
you know,
Well, obviously they were the best 2-win football team.
yeah, you know what? I'm not ready to say that yet either. Let's be real. This game was decided. Josh Jacobs. Here's the thing. When the Raiders decide to play football, they win games. Josh Jacobs, 24 rushes for 109 yards, 4.5 yards per carry against a good run-stopping defense.
Yes.
Devontae Adams, 7 for 141 and 2 touchdowns against a good corner in Patrick Surtain. Derek Carr, 23 of 37 for 307 and 2 touchdowns against a good defense. This game shows me a lot here. When the Raiders have it together and are motivated and want to play, they can beat anybody. But when they're not, they are fucking awful. There is something going on in that locker room. There's
They
something
sacked Russell
going on.
Wilson 3 times yesterday. Max Crosby, unblockable.
Oh, Max Crosby
Unblockable.
made his case for Defensive Player of the Year yesterday.
Yeah, unblockable.
Period. Russell Wilson didn't have that bad of a game.
No,
That's
he
what's
did not.
fucked up.
And I actually thought he looked pretty good.
This was the
be honest
first
with you.
time all year that I can say
They can't get the ball
Denver's-
in the fucking end zone.
Denver's defense lost them that game. That's the first time all year I think I could say that.
Yeah, but it was there was a fucking fluke play in overtime.
Yes, but they shouldn't have been in that position. Their run stop
That's true.
couldn't stop Josh Jacobs.
Wait,
and
this
nobody,
game went into OT?
Yes. This game was finished in overtime.
How many fucking games has Denver played in OT?
I don't know. A whole
That's
every-
exactly- they
every
played
single
like 3
one?
or 4 games in overtime this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
every one of them they lost.
you can't discredit Denver's offense for once in this game. They don't have a consistent running back. They had to give the ball to Latavius Murray 17 times. They fucking cut Melvin Gordon today. Chase Edmonds, they gave him the
Listen to
ball
me.
2 times.
This guy can't stop putting the fucking ball on the ground.
Yeah, he's gone.
And I get it. I understand why they cut him.
Because he's
Totally
ineffective.
get it.
Completely ineffective. Cortland Sutton, 5 for 80. Kendall Hinton, 3 for 57. This is without Jerry Jeudy.
he had some nice catches, huh?
This is without Jerry Jeudy.
Right, their
Okay,
guy.
and their offense did not look as putrid as it has. But the defense yesterday, they had no answer for Josh Jacobs running the ball, and they had nobody. Patrick Surtain is supposed to be a premier cornerback in this league, and he had no answers for Devontae Adams yesterday. And that's a true testament to how good Devontae Adams is. Don't sleep on it. But the Raiders, you can't have faith in them because one week they get it together, and the next week they can't. And I don't know if
I don't know who
Denver's-
they play going forward here.
Let's talk about it. I can pull that up very easily.
I mean,
Next week, at Seattle, at home against the Chargers, at the Rams, at home against New England, at Pittsburgh, at San Francisco, Kansas City. So guess what? Realistically, they're
it's a
probably
big game for them next week.
at Seattle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. it
They
is a
need to
big-
win this to get out of the fucking basement.
And you know what? I think it's a winnable game for them.
Yeah.
If they play like they did this week.
So where's
That's
between them? Are they both 3 wins now?
Who?
Or they got 2 wins or 3 wins?
The Raiders?
Yeah,
That's their third win, baby.
that's their 3rd win. Russell Wilson, he's got 3 wins, right?
Correct.
The Raiders and Denver are both 3-7 now.
Okay.
Tied for the bottom.
And where are the Chargers?
5-5.
5-5. They're 500.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good thing for them going forward to at least be 500
Let's
with all the.
If you want to talk about the AFC playoff picture, obviously Miami and Buffalo are tied. New England and the Jets are tied. They're all 1 game apart.
Okay.
So realistically, if you want to call that division wide open, call it wide open. Baltimore 7-3, Cincinnati 6-4, Cleveland and Pittsburgh are both 3-7. That's going to come down to a back and forth battle
Right.
between Baltimore and Cincinnati. The AFC South, Tennessee 7-3, Indianapolis is 4-6-1. I don't really see Indianapolis making a push for it. But then in the West, Kansas City 8-2, Chargers 5-5. So right now, I mean, your wild card pitcher is currently Buffalo, New England, and Cincy, with the Jets on the outside looking in. So
Right.
I think there's still a lot of question marks there, especially if the Colts keep playing as good as they have been. I will give that to them.
Well, the Chiefs are still the team to beat.
Absolutely.
They're
And
still
I
the
think
team to beat.
up until the end of the year,
And
the
I
Chiefs-
think they proved that yesterday on the road, too.
And let's talk about that one. They went into SoFi Stadium to play the Chargers, and they won
And a good game.
in a very good game, in a game that I honestly thought they were out of. I mean,
I thought they were going to lose that game.
I thought they were going to
I didn't know
lose this
how-
game.
I didn't know what the fuck was going to happen.
And you want to know what was fucked up? Mike Williams going down early in this one. God, and it just hurt because this was the first time where I saw the Chargers offense in a while look as effective as they did. Joshua Palmer, 8 receptions for 106 yards and 2 touchdowns. He only missed 2 targets, and he completely wholeheartedly stepped into that Mike Williams role when Mike Williams went down yesterday.
Right.
Keenan Allen in his first game back, 5 receptions, 94 yards. Austin Eckler, 19 rushes for 83 yards and a touchdown, and then he caught 2 passes for 17. This was a very nice, well-rounded game for the Chargers offense. At the
And
end,
I thought Justin Herbert looked good in this game.
I thought he did. This
Fine,
You know
he's
what? He
finally
looked healthy.
looking back to where he
The
was.
way he throws the ball is immaculate.
Herbert.
The way the ball comes off his hand is actually ridiculous. The way it spins is what I'm saying.
He's
It's nice.
he's got a good
I was
arm.
watching it and I was just like, wow,
But you know what?
holy shit.
He's not cute.
And you know what? I'll tell you what. And it pains me to say this. It really does. Patrick Mahomes to Travis Kelce is probably the most effective quarterback receiver duo that I have seen
Ever.
ever. And I'm willing to say it. They are on the same fucking rhythm every single time. And I mean, Travis Kelce just keeps catching fucking touchdown passes. And Mahomes
Has he
keeps
broken
finding.
Gronk's records yet?
It's got to be pretty fucking close.
He's got to be.
I think
close.
within the next year or two he will. But I mean, Travis Kelce to.
I mean,
and
he's
Patrick Mahomes-
on the edge of breaking Tony Gonzalez's.
Yeah.
Hey,
So-
shout out to Mike Dana, 2 sacks.
Let's be real here. Mahomes at this current point is the best quarterback in the league, and I think the Chiefs have to be your favorites. You got to remember they're missing Nicole Hardman, they're missing Juju Smith-Schuster.
And what's his name just went out hurt yesterday.
Which one?
The one they just picked up.
Oh,
Kadarius
Tony went out early in this game, and Mahomes still threw for 329 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Granted, all 3 touchdowns were to Kelce, but
Right.
they're playing extremely effective football. And going back to the defense, like Bruce said, they are very slowly
Getting better defensively.
getting better.
Where they're
And-
getting guys back off of injury.
Yeah.
You had a couple guys suspended.
I mean, they sacked,
Yeah.
Bruce said, Mike Dana had 2 sacks, Chris Jones had 2 sacks, Willie Gay had a sack. They
5
are
times. They had
Yeah.
5 sacks.
5 sacks. And their defense is clicking on all cylinders.
And you would think that would have been reversed.
Yeah. Looking at it, you'd think, yes.
Well, without Joey Bosa, I mean,
Well, I mean-
let's admit it. I mean,
Khalil Mack's kind of washed.
their defense is in disarray. The Chargers' defense is in
Completely
disarray.
disarray. I agree.
Yes.
I don't know who did the broadcasting last night for the game, but shame on them because one run up the middle with Austin Eckler and Mike Dana was in the hole to make the stop on the line of scrimmage, but there was a linebacker blitzing off Kansas City and flew right past Austin Eckler, and Mike got the tackle, and this fucking jackass, I don't know what his name is, was out there talking about the linebacker and how good of a play he made, and not Mike for making the fucking.
Are you sure he didn't push him into?
No. If I can find it, I'll show you later.
Anyway.
But the linebacker came over top and flew right past Austin Eckler and didn't give any credit.
Okay. Well,
I just want to give credit to Mike.
tell your
because
friend Mike
he's out
Dana
there. He's out there balling. 2
can do
sacks,
it on a consistent
3
basis.
tackles. Well, he just got back off injury.
Right.
So
Well, let's see what he does here going forward.
okay.
Other than that, we have a big game tonight between San Francisco and 49ers, and it is indeed
Mexico City.
in Mexico City. It is indeed a What game? What kind of game is this?
I don't know.
Schlabberknocker.
What do you mean?
San
It's a
Francisco.
divisional game.
Oh, there we go. It's a divisional matchup between the
It'll be a
5
tough
and 4
game.
49ers and the 4 and 6 Arizona Cardinals down in Estadio Azteca,
You know what that means?
the Aztec Stadium.
Correct.
Wow, I'm so good. San Francisco a 10-point favorite, over under a 43. Kyler Murray's not playing.
Can you
Fuck.
just speak
Are you
like
serious?
fluent Spanish?
Yes, he can.
He's not? Kyler Murray's not playing?
No.
Are you fucking shitting me? God damn it. I'm fucking down big. I need him to play
Why?
because I'm down to your Uncle Tony.
Oh. Do you have
I
him?
I need him to fucking play. I'm down 78-61.
Well, he's still questionable. Game time decision.
Game time decision.
Unlikely to play, Ian Rappaport reporting. But takeaways from this game.
Fucking hamstring.
Let's see. Takeaways from this game. I personally expect the 49ers to dominate, especially if Kyler doesn't play. If Kyler plays, I think it's going to be a little bit of a better game. Obviously, on last week's Friday show, Uncle Sam picked Arizona. So hopefully Kyler Murray doesn't play so he looks stupid. But other than that, I think this is going to be a San Francisco dominated game.
Well, why you say that?
Because on Friday...
I said if Kyler Murray plays, I think they will win.
No.
I'm taking them to beat the 49ers.
That's a cop-out. You know that, right?
It is a cop.
That's a fucking cop-out.
What do you mean?
I had your back.
If you're gonna
Obviously,
stick with
Colt
him, stick
McCoy
with him.
ain't going to fucking
Yeah, but
beat
you have
him.
to choose a team to win.
Yeah, you got to pick one winner and
sorry?
one loser. Not if
You just have to pick a team.
If Kyler Murray plays tonight, I will take...
Okay, he isn't playing. Go.
Period.
He's not playing.
He's not playing. Go.
I'm taking the Cardinals.
Thank you. There it is. I know you did the same thing last week, and I will fucking find it. Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of... Oh, hold on. News.
Yeah, news.
No, news.
Yeah.
During his press conference Monday, Texans quarterback Lovie Smith left the door open to a quarterback
coach.
change. We're going away
Texans
from Davis
head
Mills.
coach.
Huh?
You said Texans quarterback, Lovie Smith.
Whatever. Lovie fucking Smith said Kyle Allen's starting next week. So there you go. Your boy Davis Mills officially out of a job. And we talked about Melvin Gordon getting cut. And I think that's probably about it because it's still early on a Monday. Other than that, Kyle Pitts tore his MCL. We talked about that one. I think that's it. Anything you need to add before we end?
Divisional games.
Bruce? Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Tip Balls Podcast. Make sure to follow our socials, Instagram and Twitter at Tip Balls, TikTok at Tip Balls Podcast. If you're listening to us, check us out on YouTube and remember to subscribe. If you're watching us, you already know where to listen. We will be back on Wednesday with our Thanksgiving preview / Fantasy Frenzy. Thank you so much for listening. You will hear from us in a day or two.